Yeah. Let's see here. Why? What interactive joint is? That's not what I was trying to do. You probably got the notification in it.
Yep.
Hold on. Might have to restart it. Because it's doing something with these polls and stuff. I'm not trying to do that. Come back. No. We still here. People showing up. Yeah, as long as they can see the timeline and stuff, we're good. So yeah, man, I just wanted to get some of these things across. Let's see what everybody doing over here. Man, how was your day, bro?
Man, it was pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
Got some rest, man.
Man,
Chilled out.
man,
Watched a couple games.
Man, we had the ugly sweater Christmas kickback at my house last night. You know what I'm saying? My squad from you know what I'm saying, my bike club, shout out to Legends on 2. You know what I'm saying? Y'all see, hey, the Legends is misspelled on purpose too. You know what I'm saying? Because it's another club out there that's similar to ours. Nick, what's good, man? You can come to my sweater kickback, and I know I sent you an invite. And then you gonna show up on live. But yeah, man, we do much today, man. I'm pretty happy with the way that things went last night. You know what I'm saying? We had an easy cleanup too. You know, that make doing the next one more worth it. But today, man, I didn't do much. Me and Shoni, you know what I'm saying, binge watched the show on Netflix called Travelers. It's pretty dope. But I think anything you watch, well, I ain't gonna say anything because there's some bad TV out there. So, you know, but yeah, it was pretty cool, man. Just sat on the couch and it was a vegetable all day.
Oh, that's what's up, man. Shit, it's a party with man. Nobody passed out in the front yard.
Yeah, it was, you know, we had adult parties, bro. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was gone by like 11:30. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, y'all had one of those.
Yeah, Sharon was good. Get some of my people chiming in. What's going on, man? One of my partners, I'm gonna get a chance to have him up here. We're gonna have a face-to-face on live too. He's a law enforcement professional. You know what I'm saying? And he give his, you know, in-depth perspective based on his, you know, regular travels and his own personal experience and you know, being a badge-toting officer. So, you know, I think that's gonna be a good chat. Because, you know, we need to be talking about trying to, you know, curtail our emotions and stuff like we've been talking about before. You know, like we had a good conversation over the phone Saturday while I was driving around and that white lady was about to die in the handicapped parking space. That I wasn't going to be no good assist. So, but we were talking about, we'll get to that, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's see, who are you? Let me check this line, list. So don't miss anybody. Hey, man, look, let's go ahead and start from the top, bro. Hey, let me go ahead and ask your opinion, man, because, hey, well, for everybody that's listening, my cousin, Andrew Davis, is who I'm talking to. Y'all probably see me and him interact on my social media page or whatever. And, I trust his judgment. Like, he my cousin, man, but he might as well should have been my brother, you know. So, the only thing that separates that is legal terminology, so to speak. But I appreciate his opinions and stuff. He's somebody I talk to and I confide in on a regular basis. So without further ado, let's get to the first topic, man. And welcome to Code Talk, everybody. So we're gonna talk about Cardi B and Offset, and I just said it earlier. We just need to decode the publicity stunt because it's obvious that it's a publicity stunt. You know what I'm saying? And that part you don't even have to. It passes the eye test for a publicity stunt, right? But what I took from it is what is communicating to somebody else that's fragile or, you know, not as relationship savvy, you know what I'm saying, about themselves. It's making it, to me, it communicates a fragile message that changes the expectations of people in a relationship. You know what I'm saying? They want you to scrap and run behind them or something like that, because Cardi might like that. You know what I'm saying? And on the other end, it's like a Steve Urkel type of desperation. I'm not saying you shouldn't pursue who you want. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got a little bit of adversity and, you know, and chipping away at certain walls with each other and stuff. But when you had that type of visibility in your relationship, you know what I'm saying, it's been under all kind of scrutiny for the world to see. And then you get in this situation right here, it communicates a message to me that can be kind of dangerous. You know what I'm saying? You don't want nobody to run up at your job, you know what I'm saying, talking about taking back. So what's your feelings on that, bro?
Man, that was super trash. in my opinion, because like you just interrupted her job. Like, yo, forget what you talking about right now. Like that was a big little tour event or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't no small. She was headlining that, whatever that was.
That's big money. You know what I'm saying? No matter what you're talking about. So
you stopping checks, like these shows, you know what I'm saying? My set time.
Mm-hmm.
You wanna know how much money old boy costs by coming out there with the little tracksuit on, man? He does I'm called to be my all kind of money. Somebody he want the girl back.
Yeah.
Brought a whole cake out there, somebody come back.
Man.
I don't think she's going back either, man, because she's too big now. She don't need him no more.
Well, I can see that. I can see a conflicted relationship.
If she has some self-esteem, she'll be gone right now.
Right. You know. Oh, and you know, we're talking about this with what we see on the surface. We ain't talking about like we actually know these folks, but we're saying in ideal conditions, right? And again, we're past the fact that we know it's a publicity stunt, but
why though?
I don't know. Like, it's not like it's needed. Do you think?
She's huge.
Yeah, some people are playing it like it's a Jay and Beyonce type of copycat deal with the lemonade joint and everything else. I don't know if it's. I don't know.
Time for that,
yeah, I don't think they got that kind of history together. You know what I'm saying? There's a difference between popularity and history. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I guess popularity speed up history.
Yeah, you're right.
How long they been together, man? Like what? About a year?
About
2 years, maybe?
About 10 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Whatever that is. Man. So, you know, they got a limited pool to shop from. So, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Lemonade.
You know, damn lemonade.
You remember Orange?
Yeah. With all that extra sugar, you could like when they say shake well, that was for your survival.
Don't nobody want to hear Orange.
Nah, bro, nobody want that. You know what I'm saying? Them Barbers joints for 27 cents after tax. Nah, we cool with that.
Nah, those are terrible.
Yeah. But the larger point, what do you think that's communicating to young guys that's out there, young men that's, you know what I'm saying, in a you know, I guess a shaky relationship, you know what I'm saying, that they add their own spice to it. What you think about that?
That's just part of the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think with the generation that came up after us, like, first of all, I think all of them infatuated with their exes. Like, no matter how bad the relationship was, they could have been shooting at each other every other day.
Yo,
they still be infatuated with their ex. Like,
that's another topic too.
With their ex.
Yo, that's another topic too. It's like it's cool to still be able to talk about your ex wanting you back. Like, I don't understand that. You know, like, look,
it's nuts,
bro. I see posts I get tagged in sometimes that says, "What if your ex called you?" Like, look, what's an ex? Because, like, to me, they evaporate. I hit them with the Thanos snap, man. There ain't no more. Ain't no going back.
Like, why? Like, why would be a better question?
They might look. It's like I pulled out the Men in Black pen. I forgot about them. I pretend they dead, bro. You know what I'm saying? So, like, when somebody get to talking about their ex, I'm like, and they still talking to them. I don't understand that, especially when you ain't got no kids with them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get when you got kids and then you have to interact with them to some degree, but even then,
that's a whole different situation.
That's a different situation. Yeah. But
they get back with their ex every other day.
Bro, you remember when I think it was TJ Yeldon, somebody was trying to have a one up on him because some dude was dating TJ Yeldon's ex or whatever.
Right.
And it was like
I remember that track.
Flexing on social media with that. Like, you don't get no props for that. Your wife was somebody ex. You know what I'm saying? You was somebody ex. So, like, what you trying to communicate with that? So I ain't never really understood that. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's helping, you know, young men in that situation kind of glorify something that really don't have no value, right? So what you think is communicating to young girls or young ladies in that situation too? You know what I'm saying?
That is cool. It's cool for him to do whatever. As long as he show me. See, as long as I do it in public, I'm cool. Like, you can say, you know what I'm saying, he did this, he did that, but at least you know what I'm saying? Like, the girls now feel like dudes can pretty much do whatever. Like, dudes can pretty much, like, short of sleeping with their mama or something, like, real crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You can just about do anything. Because they feel like if you, that's all it takes. A little cake, couple balloons or something.
Yeah.
And we right back. We right back on Snap.
And to me, like if she was on the other foot, I would take that as an insult of my intelligence. You know what I'm saying?
Like, come on, man.
Like I'm always guarding that. You know what I'm saying? I'm always looking to see if somebody trying to play me on something anyway. Because I man, look, I don't get mad, but the thing is though, I can take something personal without getting mad about it. You know, I can separate it. You know what I'm saying? Because I got to take it personal to know how to box it somewhere, so I know how to counter it. If you get mad, you can't respond. You know what I'm saying? With the right energy, you're gonna load somebody else's ammo for it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So like you gotta have a calculated, you know what I'm saying, approach to these things. So yeah, I think the imagery from that situation gives a little bit more fertilizer to bad habits, if anything, because people look at it. They look at it on the surface. Everybody like the surface stuff. You know what I'm saying? And nobody want to scratch far enough to find out who these people really are, because they ain't gonna never really get that close to them anyway. We just care about it right now because on social media, for the very reason we talk about it. It's funny. To me, it's funny, but it's communicating some dangerous messages. You know what I'm saying? To some guys is out there that live to put their hands on women. You know what I'm saying? They got a young Ike type of mentality. And those are people that, when I say communicates a dangerous message, you get that message. If you give unwritten rules to fools, what you think gonna happen?
They're gonna turn up.
Yeah.
Because that all come with the package though. Like the wife be the chilling on the couch all day long. I beat you up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I drop you off at work in your car.
Mm-hmm.
All of that, like, that's just part of the package now. Like, all of that's part of the package. Like, this is what you signing up for. Like the dudes don't know no better because, you know what I'm saying? They've been walking in the living room to the dude eating their cereal all their life. Yep.
Yeah, it's true. My friend Leandra says there's a sense of entitlement among men and women that have given the ammunition. And then she comes back, she says some women. She was very specific about that. Because there's something about being able to say you got some level of control or influence over somebody you used to date. You know what I'm saying? Like, I see her post to say, who can go back and fuck their baby mama, their baby daddy? Who gives a fuck?
That's stupid, man. Like, that's so trash to me. Like,
and then they'll be the same people that go back and make a baby with somebody that they said that they didn't want no more.
And then brag about it. At least all my kids by the same person. Like, sleeping with a bum 3 times don't mean nothing.
Man, look, sleeping with a bum 3 times, like, I don't even know how to put that into anything that's comedic because it's that sad to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ever know somebody that, like, when they get pregnant or they got another baby on the way, if they're a father or the mother, depending on what side of the conversation they're on, and you know that they trash and you can't even get excited for them because they're still pregnant? Like, oh yeah, we got another baby on the way. You're like, okay. What time we going to go eat again? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like you done had baby monsoons. You done ran out of baby showers. You know what I'm saying? You done had baby tsunamis.
So, the baby's going straight to DVD.
Like, yeah. Hey, you could just go ahead and put the last baby shower on. You know what I'm saying? You could just go back to your Amazon cart and say, purchase this again.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Nobody comes to your baby shower.
Like a prescription.
Right, yeah, you got prescription babies. You know what I'm saying? You've been pregnant for 5-6 years. Hey, when have you not had a baby on the way? Yeah.
That's horrible.
Yeah, so, you know what I'm saying? But, like, and not to lean on that too heavy, man, because, look, I think that there's way more people out there doing the right thing you know what I'm saying, in their relationships and adding value to the culture, you know. But we still can, you know, highlight the, you know what I'm saying, the things that don't add value without being immersed in it, you know what I'm saying, because we ain't living that life. We just get to observe it, you know what I'm saying, and you don't want to judge the people, but you can definitely pay attention to their actions, you know what I'm saying, and judge their actions, because they can always change their actions, you know what I'm saying. At some point,
right, because that's all it is. Like, they just gotta grow up, man. Like, and when you look at them, that's all you see. It's like, okay,
right.
They see it, when they like 25, 26, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, and then they got money. They done had money for a long time. So like
that's it. They just upgraded versions. The other 25 and 26 year olds you see walking around.
Well, think about
they just rich. Just the two dudes you just passed by going to work this morning. It's them with some millions of dollars. Like, they just wild dudes. They do crazy shit.
Yeah. And man, think
so
about.
You just gotta wait on it to grow up to see how it's gonna turn out. But you know what I'm saying? Like, he ain't the first dude to get caught with a phone.
No, at all. And I was about to say this too. Think about how remedial you were between the age of 20 and 25. You know what I'm saying? Like, with no money.
Had some money.
With,
like,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, we out here doing.
Like, not even that kind of money. Just like a couple of dollars.
Yeah, let me get a small percentage of that, and I'll show you how to do this. You know what I'm saying? Without being and not be broke. Like, think about the recklessness that you engaged in when you was broke.
Exactly.
Yeah, like making terribly informed decisions, and if somebody had to gauge me by who I am today, by what I did between the age of 20 and 25, man, I would never be, you know what I'm saying, worth a damn for bringing up scum. No,
like, who's this guy?
Yeah, my number won't be saved to nobody's phone.
No, man, like, nah, he's trash, man. Stay far away from that guy.
Yeah, he mean well, but he trash. His actions are trash. He means well, but his actions are trash. He ain't even recyclable. You know what I'm saying? Don't bring him back around here.
No use for him at all, man.
Right.
It's no use for him.
So, bottom line is, man, like, to decode that whole thing before we move to the next topic, man, it's like you just gotta let people grow up. You know what I'm saying?
That's what it is. They just gotta grow up.
And you can't hold them accountable by how you see your detriments either. You know what I'm saying? So, like, some of y'all may not want to hang around for the next topic, but if you do, you got a couple other topics we'll get to. But like, I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the college football playoffs, man. Urban Meyer, Ohio State, Saban, Clemson, OU, Notre Dame, Bama, you know what I'm saying? All of that. So, man, I remember one conversation you and I had, and I'm gonna let you talk about this, man, because I don't want to talk about stats and stuff. I want to talk about culture, you know what I'm saying, in college football among coaches and stuff, right? You made a point one day about why Saban is the GOAT, and not just because of winning. You know what I'm saying? That's part of the package. That's kind of implied, right? But you made a very, very solid point. You said, what program has Urban Meyer left that flourished? And you know what I'm saying? And then when you compare that to, like, Saban, you hit some very key points. You know what I'm saying? He left LSU. LSU still relevant, even though there's some losers. You know what I'm saying? In Red Stick, Louisiana, because that's what Baton Rouge mean. You know, Michigan State, a 3-star program, but they relevant. You know what I'm saying? They made
steady. They steady.
Yeah, they
Everybody's steady.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, they gonna beat Ohio State once every 3 to 5 years. You know what I'm saying? That's a pretty good average for them. And not to mention that every school in the Big Ten is a basketball school anyway. So they're kind of winning with just even being relevant for college football discussion, even though they don't have the body of performance late in the season, you know what I'm saying, to make some people believers. Let me say it that way. I think they just fill the gap, you know. So go ahead and, you know what I'm saying, share with us some of your wisdom.
I was just saying, man, you know, everybody want to argue about that. I don't know why everybody's so scared to go and say Nick Saban got it, man. He's the best to ever do. Take it out, you can go all the way back to Michigan State, man. Like, none of these dudes you can put up there with them. Nobody that's coaching right now, you got to forget the resume. I'm talking about that staying power. You see the dude, you get mad at Nick Saban on Sundays. Why you mad on Sunday? Because you see Alabama players running up and down the field on Sunday. Ain't no other coach doing that. Like, you got some other coaches out here winning games like Dabo. He might, 10 years from now, we might be talking about him like that.
Yeah.
But Urban Meyer was supposed to be in the same little class. He ain't it. It's a big gap. That's a huge gap. Don't even count the championship. That's a huge gap.
Yeah, lead the championship.
Look at everywhere Urban Meyer been. What's Utah doing these days?
Losing. I mean, but hey, I will say this: they did beat Bama in the Sugar Bowl without Meyer, but those were his players. That was his. That was the next year. That was just 1 year removed. That was just 1 year removed. Absolutely right.
1 year removed.
So they were supposed to be good. Yeah, it's still supposed to be good.
That was 10 years ago.
Correct.
We ain't heard from them since. Been a lot of BYU on my TV screen. Not a lot of Utah.
Yeah, and the only time you see Utah is when they playing USC or somebody else that might be relevant in the Pac-12.
That's it. Look at Florida.
They just learned how to snap the ball again this year.
They a mess.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Florida's a mess.
You remember when they was blocking each other for like 2 or 3 years?
Oh man.
Yo, when we start calling them Florida, you know what I'm saying? We used to have some respect for that program.
We lost that respect for it. Once they put that slaw in front of your name, nobody asked for the slaw. Nobody asked for the slaw, man. Mm-mm. They was slaw at one point. Saban ain't left no slaw nowhere.
Nope. What about coaching trees?
Who came under Urban? Like, talk to me, other than the dude that's been whooping his wife ass for the last couple years that nobody want to talk about.
Yeah, what's his name? Tom Herman? He wouldn't beat nobody up, but I think it was the thing is though,
he wanted down there in Texas now.
Yeah, we talking about the wide receiver coach. I know who you talking about, yeah.
That's the only two, Tom Herman and that dude. So like that's a 50% rate.
Yeah, and then not to be too far removed from it, but you know, he was passing, you know what I'm saying, some hate back and forth too. So that's the type of coach he had. You ain't never seen no.
He's been taking shots because he's been jealous though. But if you notice Urban Meyer, he get in when there ain't nothing going on.
Right. Oh man,
when
yeah, absolutely.
When Florida, what was the SEC doing?
Nothing.
Who was high the SEC when Urban Meyer took over Florida?
Let's see. That was in 2006. Nobody.
Damn sure wasn't us.
Nope. Nobody.
It wasn't shit going on.
No, it wasn't that going on.
Nothing going on.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, man.
So he came in, built it up, took over the league. Saban came in, got a heart attack. Yeah. So he gets to the Big Ten. What's going on in the Big Ten when he get there? Michigan ain't even that good.
Nah, absolutely. And
Ohio State, fresh off the probation. They ain't doing that neither. They been smacked around.
They lost
Penn State.
Yeah.
It's right before Penn State.
In the scandal.
Man come out with all the little allegations or whatever.
Right.
Big Ten wasn't doing that. He slid right in the door. Remember, they was on probation. He lose the game for the first 2 years.
Matter of fact, he took all of Penn State's decommits. You know, after that.
Went down, he took all of their players.
Sure did. Yep.
He ain't never. That's what I'm saying. He ain't never had no adversity. As soon as it get tough, he got health issues. And I ain't saying ain't nothing wrong with him.
Yeah. His health issues are legit this time around.
I'm just saying every time
he just come in
tough, it's something wrong with him.
I'll say this. He has hung his name on the program more than he's built the program. You know what I'm saying? Like he's walked in and hung his sign on the door like he built the place.
Right, like, damn, ain't nobody want this, like he just slid in. And then you look up and they good, like, wait a minute, where the hell did he come from?
Right.
Because I remember he a special teams coach.
Yeah.
Like, how many of them become big time head coaches? Like, oh, this nigga was coaching the special team.
Very good.
Like, you don't even hear about, like, who was another special teams coach?
Yeah, I can't name one. I can't
Other
name
than the dude for the Ravens. I think he a special teams coach.
Oh,
head coach. I think he was special teams.
Yeah.
But you don't just hear about the dude that's, you don't just get promoted from special teams to defensive coordinator. Like, that don't happen.
Yeah, you're right, man. You know, I can't take that away from that.
So tell me, you know what I'm saying? Like, a Big Ten is like a whole bunch of overrated coaches.
It's true. It really is. Now, I would say James Franklin is doing the job, but like.
But they don't talk about him.
But no, they don't.
They don't talk about him.
You know, because he was supposed to fail. You know what I'm saying? Based on the way that program was set up and stuff.
Because they didn't have nothing when he got there.
Nope.
Nothing. He done took them to the Rose Bowl and all that.
Yeah.
He done beat Ohio State, but all you hear about is how good Harbaugh is. Well, when is he gonna do something about it?
Yeah, them khaki pants is trash, bro.
Them khaki pants are ridiculous, man. He gotta get rid of it, get some corduroy or something. Trash. We gotta get them Yankees out of here, man. And I be hope like he can't even make it to where Bama can beat his ass.
Yeah.
He can't even make it that far.
Hey, we ain't talking about poverty right now, Kevin. We ain't talking about no Gus Bus right now. Hey, but you did call him Noah Just Gus. That's pretty nasty right there. I might.
No, man. Please don't start talking about them dudes, man.
Yeah. So one piece I meant to add in there too. I want to make sure we talk about UCF. I think they legit. I think they were legit last year. I want them to get in there so they can catch the full rinse. You know what I'm saying? That way, can't nobody say that they didn't have a shot. You know.
Right.
Dan Mullen.
And that's the only thing that keep giving you hope is people keep saying is the fact that you can't get a shot. Like that's why I feel like that's why you keep talking.
Right.
Because you know you never gonna get a shot. I don't really think you want no smoke over here.
Nah. And Bama want all the smoke right now. You know what I'm saying? So like it ain't nobody you can line up in front of them. Them boys gonna play their best game.
And see, it was cool to say we want Bama when y'all thought we had a quarterback that can't throw. It was cool to say it now. Like all that shit slowed down. We gonna see the left hand dude come out there and he start throwing it everywhere. Yeah, ain't nobody want that then.
Yeah, they got to reach and say, man, the Citadel gave y'all a fit. I mean, but they want to talk about the final score.
They also celebrated being tied at halftime, so that lets you know what type of situation it was.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who's supposed to get hyped for Citadel at the end of the year, man?
Right.
You boys watching the game, how you think they feel? They playing. If you boys watching it, how you think they feel?
Man.
And Saban know that he just can't come out there and say, "Hey man, come on, man, you can't come out there and disrespect nobody like that. That's bad karma."
Yeah, it really is.
Knocked off of that. You just can't do that. But you can't make them dudes be hyped for Citadel, man.
Man, look, Kevin on here talking on UCF and take Bama to the wire, bro. We not Auburn, bro.
Listen to what I'm saying, man. See, it's Auburn fault we even gotta have this conversation anyway.
The only reason we talking about UCF because of Auburn.
Y'all had one job, man. One job.
And then now look what you've done. You know, maybe
now look at it. We still talking about it 2 years, a whole year later. Eagles still ain't lost the game.
Hey, you remember when Tony Montana had shot Manolo and said, "Look what you now." You know what I'm saying? That's what we at right now with Auburn.
Hey, Auburn, you can't talk if you're part of the nation's longest winning streak. You're part of that streak.
Hey man,
your name is on that streak.
They don't do nothing but lose the teams from Florida anyway. They lost to Florida State in the championship game, and they lost to UCF. Man, we don't want to hear nothing about Auburn right now, especially after December. Matter of fact, after November, we ain't nobody talking about Auburn no more. You know, so y'all bowl game before Christmas. Did y'all get a bowl game?
Did they go to the bowl game? They could have declined.
That shit probably in Titusville.
It might be.
But let me go ahead and move on to something else, man. Because like I can come back and talk about Notre Dame, Clemson, and you know what I'm saying, and other guys too. But let's talk about Kevin Hart and the Oscars, man. Let me go ahead and say what I got to say about it. I thoroughly support Kevin Hart's decision to decline the Oscars because when you got your own money, that's when you got the leverage. You know what I'm saying? Like we talked about, and to me, that was like one of those moments that goes back to when we talked about Jay-Z's verse on Meek Mill's song "What's Free," when he said they let you run the checkup, but they never give you leverage.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Hart got leverage, whether people understand it or not. You might be tired of it. He got plenty of leverage. That's why he's tired of it. Yeah. So when he threw the Oscars away, people tried to make it look like he was unemployed without the Oscars. You know what I'm saying? It was like, all he got to do is apologize. I'm like, bruh, you know how much money it takes to get Kevin Hart to do a walkthrough probably? You know what I'm saying? There's no angle in anything where he's on a camera or wherever you hear his voice that he's not getting paid off of. Do you think he give a fuck about running the Oscars? What are we talking about? You know what I'm saying? Like, why would you want to be part of, you know, like to me, I looked at it as it was an attempt to emasculate him. You know what I'm saying? Like, all you got to do is apologize. Like, man, look, I said what I said. I dedicated all that energy to go find, you know what I'm saying, my old tweets, find my old apologies. You know what I'm saying? You're always looking for the old me because you ain't changed, you know? So it's real convenient at these times, you know what I'm saying, to produce type of I wouldn't even say sensitivity, but like this fake caring. You know what I'm saying? Like that was like the last resume to check the block. Because like last I checked, everything he touched, you know what I'm saying, they make money. So why wouldn't you be finding ways to have him there? He don't owe y'all nothing. So
that was the whole apology thing, because I felt like if he could have, like if it was if they knew they needed him.
Yeah, that's
why they hit him with the can you apologize? I don't think it was you gotta apologize. I think it was a can you apologize? I was like, nah, I'm cool.
Yeah. I mean, look, I'm like him in so many ways. As far as like in this particular situation, when I say I did something and I own up to it, you're not about to make me, you know what I'm saying, try to relive who I used to be in that moment in time. And I think all of us have been there when somebody says, man, well, you need to apologize, man. Like, but who wants an apology that you have to ask for? And then what you're apologizing about, you know what I'm saying? And then to me, the other thing is too, I kind of got the idea, like for me, if somebody apologized to me, for me to accept it as not being bullshit, they would have to break down why they apologize and why they made, you know what I'm saying, me feel a certain type of way and try to actually have some empathy for that. You know, that's why I've always adopted the logic that apologies aren't for the person that was offended. Apologies are for the person that did the offending, so they can have a green light to do something else again. They modify it, say, well, I didn't think it was that big of a deal, so let me try it this way. You know what I'm saying? Because all of us have been thoroughly engaged in doing something wrong, or in some cases maybe malicious for selfish reasons. Let me say selfish instead of malicious. Sometimes you do something for selfish reasons that somebody else may see as being malicious. So you either get crafty enough to figure out a better way to do it, or you just change your behavior. So to me, the best apology is change behavior. So when you look at them old tweets where he was and to where he is now, he don't owe nobody nothing.
And who just got these old tweets in the stage?
Man, look, they got people that get paid to go out there and do this data mining and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So there's never going to be a shortage of folks looking to, you know what I'm saying, find out who you used to be. You know?
I just don't think it's fair that we do that. Okay, we gonna dig up old tweets. Let's just get everybody's tweets. But don't. As soon as somebody gets something or do something you don't like, you go looking for their tweets.
Bro, somebody gonna bring up unseasoned on me at some point. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's coming back. I don't care, and I'm here for it. I'll drop a pin. You know, I'll drop a pin. I'm here for it. Yeah. You know, so I understand that, man. So I got to the point where I kind of look at it like I don't like cyclic discussions. You know what I'm saying? And even though this stuff kind of old, but this is the first chance we get a chance to have a good interaction about it. You know, talk about it. You know, put our conversation out. Like I told you before, man. Like I wrote a book because I got tired of explaining myself. You want my opinion, you got to buy it. And while we're talking about that, it's $9.99. The links are located in the caption. You know what I'm saying? There it is. They got a paperback, the Kindle. I've been kind of procrastinating on the audiobook because I've been having a whole lot of other things going on. But you know what I'm saying? It's coming. But like, go purchase the book, The Code, and give you a little bit more insight on how to deal with your anger. You know what I'm saying? And repurpose it into energy that supports folks who's already doing something great. But yeah, so like all of this discussion about who people used to be and trying to penalize them for actually, you know, I guess evolving, you know what I'm saying? Because there's no in between with evolving. You either evolve or you go extinct. All those old people that didn't want to change up, you know what I'm saying, their deliveries on stuff, what they needed to learn for as a skill to stay relevant, they going extinct right now. That's why you're talking about, you know, like when Cat Williams had his opinion about it. Cat Williams is popular for his old stuff, you know what I'm saying? But that's what he gonna be held in regard as, his old stuff. And it's already kind of rough for comedians if they don't get into syndication like radio shows or TV shows or something like that. They got a real small window to make an impact that you know what I'm saying, that keeps them around for longevity. You know what I'm saying? So they can't hold Kevin Hart. I don't care if you don't like the man or whatever. The dude he's in too many different things. You know what I'm saying? And he's a boss now. You know, he's putting people in positions so they can make their own money and write their own name out there, man. So, you know, yeah. And my boy Chad, you know what I'm saying? Also, who has a really dope podcast. It's called the Kind of Sleepy Podcast. Hey, Kevin. Hey, Hey, Kevin, what's going on? What you got right there? Yeah, he's bringing up his own comments right now. But let me back up for a second. Hey, Chad, do me a favor, man. Post the link to your podcast in this thread, bro. You know what I'm saying? So everybody can follow you too. And y'all go follow this podcast, man. Let's see what else we got going on. So yeah, let me move on, and we can come back and just discuss open stuff in a little bit. But I want to talk about the protesting in Hoover, because it's about the protesting at this point, even though someone died and somebody was shot. Well, 2 people were shot and a third person was also killed, you know, by the Hoover Police Department. And there's been a lot of mixed information, you know what I'm saying, that's coming out. And you and I always, a lot of people inbox me, ask my opinion on it. Number one, I always offer opinion based on placement and access. Right now I'm placed in Texas. I do have access to people that still live in Birmingham, but my opinions are based on, you know what I'm saying, like the amalgamation of information, like how much of it is, you know, is consistent. What's the common thread, you know? So I try to limit my input on it. But I recently saw this video that we discussed, you know what I'm saying, over the weekend, that some people are holding this fact. Some people don't want it to be true. And it's basically saying everybody that's protesting will be mad when they find out that the kid EJ was in the wrong. Now, we can go ahead and establish that even if he had a license to carry, you can't take your pistol in the mall. You ain't never been able to walk around in the Galleria with no gun, okay? When it originally came out and they released the autopsy, the family did a good job getting out in front of it. I don't know what kind of information they've been given, you know what I'm saying, like what they've been advised to say since they've seen the video, but I'm imagining that it's something that's not going to turn out well. And I already had the opinion that the police were going to be justified anyway, you know what I'm saying, whether you believe it was right to kill him or not. Because when you give your leverage away, you're going to lose every time. And nobody gets convicted of their own murders more than black folks. So, you know, like, what are your thoughts on that? Because, like, I mean, like, how you feel about it? Like, you getting information from folks that's still in Birmingham or what? Or have you been interested in it at all?
No, I haven't talked to anybody about it. Me and you talked the other day. That was my first time talking about it. I just been waiting to see what I could read on. Mm-hmm. But I could see, like, in a couple of your posts where people were saying, like, well, I got information saying this, but nobody was actually saying what they knew. So I'm like, okay, more to follow on this story. So, but like me, you was talking the other day about everybody being mad if this story come back not the way they wanted to. But I don't know anything about anybody involved, but the first thing you automatically think is, shit, the cop shot another black dude.
Yep. I mean, I mean, the headline, if you just caught up in reacting to headlines, yeah, you're gonna let that tug at you. You know what I'm saying? And then when you start thinking about it and you try to be objective, you know, like, what kind of situation were you in the Galleria? If anybody ever been to this mall, even growing up, man, that wasn't no territory that black folks, you know, to go hang out in anyway. You know what I'm saying? If they did, it's only because they got a car and they're 16 years old and they finally get a chance to drive down to Hoover. You know what I'm saying? They go hang out at the mall. Since we ain't got to be limited to Eastwood Mall, which ain't that no more, RIP, and Century Plaza, RIP to Century Plaza too. Yeah, right. Yeah, that shit dead. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
Yeah, and you know, Brookwood was too bougie, but that's really the spot.
And Galleria was never the move. Like,
no,
it was like,
yeah,
never hit.
So, when you think about that format, that side of town, how things have, changed. There's a lot more black people that live out there. White people still having to adjust. You know what I'm saying? And my boy Chad just hit a note. He said, objectivity makes you a coon in the eyes of people who are more emotionally invested in their narrative than they are the facts. And that is absolutely true. You cannot make any logical decision with emotion. You know what I'm saying? Not with it being the primary vehicle of reason. So, like, I've read where people say, well, EJ was a vet. Like, yeah, he got out. I've heard things saying that he didn't finish basic training at AIT, regardless of whatever that was. Yeah, he served, but my understanding was he was not on active duty. Okay, he had plans to get back in the Army, but he did, serve for a small stint. So people try to use that as some sort of leverage, but like,
cause that's the first thing I saw.
Yeah, but ain't nobody interviewing you before they shoot you to find out if you're in the Army.
Nope.
So I read a story about a dude in San Diego, black guy, tried to help a stranded motorist on the side of the road at 2 a.m. As soon as he walked up to the car, the person he was trying to help shot him twice in the chest.
Lady got stabbed like that in Baltimore, I believe, the other day.
Yeah. I'm curious about that story about the one in Baltimore, but I'm gonna wait for more information on that. The dude's story sounds too contrived to me.
I ain't heard of
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, the way, when I watched the interview, man, but like, I don't want to get off on that. Oh, my boy Chad got some info. He said dude didn't finish AIT. So what that tells me, with you having been to the Army, just like I have, if you don't finish AIT, what was you doing to not finish AIT?
Yeah, you was a problem.
You had to be. In that regard, like, I mean, and look, for everybody else that ain't never served, ain't nobody trying to say that dude was a bad dude. We just saying that in certain types of, you have to put yourself in a disadvantaged position on a regular basis in AIT to get removed from AIT.
But I only make it that far. So
Yes.
they already got so much money invested in you.
Correct.
Already at that point.
The Army saw it as an investment to get him out. Think about that. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So that's a variable.
Yeah, spend some more just to be done with this.
Yes, that's an absolute variable. Okay. So I saw another meme flying around that said his dad was a cop, but I heard his dad was a cook for cops.
Wow, right there.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what the truth is on that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
I don't see what makes a difference either way. So,
Yes.
like, how does that help the investigation either way?
Right. So in this conversation, we're just talking about the elements right now that you have to be objective about. You know what I'm saying? Because ultimately, we got the attention grabbing headlines of another black person being shot in the back. You know what I'm saying, by police. It happened in Hoover, which is outside of Birmingham, which we really don't have a whole lot of, incidents making that type of national media attention. The Hoover police changed their story about 3 or 4 times. Social media changed the story about 3 or 4 times. They gave us some other backstories, you know what I'm saying? And then, we come from a community where Birmingham's a mid-sized city, but we old enough now to where everyone that we know, they got kids that's about to graduate high school or already in college or whatever they're doing. So it ain't hard to get any type of information, whether direct or indirect, about this. So, but largely what I'm seeing is that people don't have all the information. You know what I'm saying? And people don't understand legal processes. Some folks are saying release the tape. And there's an ongoing investigation right now. They're not going to release no tapes. They already said that they're going to update you, you know what I'm saying, week to week. And Hoover Police is not conducting its own investigation. It's at a higher echelon right now. So
the FBI taking over?
No, not the FBI, the SBI, the State Bureau of Investigation.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Aaliyah, I think that's how they spell it. Whatever the acronym is. So because they want full transparency, hell, they even had a warrant for a dude, you know what I'm saying, that went to outside of Atlanta, you know what I'm saying, to hide out, and they extradited him, brought him back, and they look, whatever they saw on the tape says his client's gonna be cleared, you know what I'm saying, completely. So that's another element, you know what I'm saying? They just steady breaking this thing down. So my point being is that with all of this misinformation, it's okay to say, you know what, let me just wait for this thing, you know what I'm saying, to sort itself out, because it's not going to go faster just because you're mad about it. You're not going to have all the facts just because you're upset about it right now.
You still need the information.
Still need the information. Right.
You still got to know what's going on.
Right.
What you mad about, you got to information.
Yeah. Like when it come back, you gonna mess around and be upset because you done got behind somebody. You know what I'm saying, on aesthetics. You know, aesthetics of headlines, placement and access, because you might be from Birmingham or still live in the city. You might be, you know what I'm saying, motivated by social injustice and how you know, what your posture is on social media and stuff. But you can't let that drive you to the point where you can't just process information to say, you know what, this is why this happened, you know. And in no way am I trying to minimize the depth of why this has this much attention where it's at. Yeah, let's just make that clear. But what I'm saying is that we have to make sure that we are analyzing our environments, because our survival is relative to our skin tone. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care what people come in and say they would shot anybody with a gun, man. We see stories all the time where a white dude actually took shots at a cop, and they somehow managed to pick him up, you know what I'm saying, unharmed, and take him to go get him something to eat before they lock him up. You know what I'm saying? So, like, let's not act like, you know, it could happen to everybody. We're not saying that everybody can't get shot by the cops in that type of engagement or whatever. Well, what I am saying is that we are less likely to make it home when we encounter the police. You know what I'm saying? So you less likely to make it home without a weapon or without showing aggression or with cooperating. You know, we've seen countless situations with that result. So how do you think you're gonna fare in a public place with a weapon where they just said it was a shooting? You know what I'm saying? Inside the place.
Chances of your death increase.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what your retirement plan look like, you know. So that's why, like, on the last time I talked online, I was talking about, you know, surviving contact, you know. And then, so let's take this a little bit further, you know. So since we talk about the protests, I looked at a couple of the posts, the dude that's been, you know, like heralded as the guy to get behind with the protests. And I have deliberately not committed some of these names to memory. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody that's been paying attention, they know who I'm talking about, you know? And I just don't see how that person can represent everybody. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how that person got chose to be the ambassador for that situation. Yeah. And then I went back and looked at some of his old videos. Bro, he called one of the people sitting on the city council a coon to his face. Who you gonna look? I don't care. Like we know how we feel about Trump, right? But you're not gonna insult the man in his face and then think you're gonna get something accomplished that day. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. And you're supposed to walk away from that.
Right. And so this dude, from what I read, he like 24, 25 years old. And he up here, you know what I'm saying? These folks up here that he talking to been in their positions longer than he been alive. So you think they got that kind of time? I ain't got that kind of time. You know what I'm saying? I'm just telling you, you know, like off the bat. It doesn't mean that what he got to say ain't worth listening to. I'm just not the one he gonna tell it to. And I'm not the one that's gonna process it and entertain it. You know what I'm saying? You'll take that somewhere else. Yeah, who you talk to like that? You know? So I think ultimately what we fail to do, because there's like the currency of emotion is always in abundance. You can get mad about anything. I seen a motherfucker get mad about some straws, you know what I'm saying, the other day on social media. You see, I posted a video today, some white people giving turkeys in the damn grocery store funeral. Bro, they pulling turkeys out the little freezer coffin where you go shop, and they gave a funeral to some turkeys that been dead and frozen.
Did they pay for the turkey?
I don't know what they did, man.
They stole them turkey.
Yeah. They commandeered them. You know what I'm saying? Appropriated them. So when you take that into consideration, what people care about, when they give their energy to, you can't give away your leverage. You know what I'm saying? Especially when let me say it like this: you lose your opportunity to retain or obtain leverage when you put yourself in a disadvantaged position. You know what I'm saying? So cops get off with video footage of them killing somebody. You know what I'm saying? Get justified, get paid for it too. So if the silence is this deafening after the the family of the victim saw the tape, you know what I'm saying, and they're not as loud now as they were before they got all the details, I think people as protesters need to start asking questions. You know what I'm saying? They need to look at, say, what does winning look like? Because right now you mobilized, but you're not organized. So what that look like? What's the result? What's the instinct?
Driving around town wasting gas.
Yeah, getting people mad. And then not only that, you putting emotional people in, you're making targets out of folks. Because you can't tell me that somebody's not analyzing all the videos that these guys have been in, walking around, and they analyzing faces and placing people, you know what I'm saying, in harm's way. Because, like, you remember that Charlottesville protest a couple years ago? You remember, like, the articles that was coming out, like, for months after the protest, and it was identifying people that was at the Unite the Right protest. So, like, why wouldn't they think that they use that same technology on black people? You know what I'm saying? Hey, man, what you doing? Washing dishes, bro?
No.
Yeah, but all I'm saying is that you got to be careful who you give your voice to. You know what I'm saying? Give that leverage away to, because they gonna put you in harm's way, or they could put you in harm's way, misrepresent you, and then take your narrative away from you. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of where I see that whole situation. So let me go ahead and see what's in the comments, man. What y'all got to talk about over here? Because that's all I got to talk about, the protest part. Hey, to my people in Birmingham, man, what y'all got to say about that? Hey, Chad, let me call in to Chad and see what he's doing. Hang on. Let me see if he's busy. Let me get on his nerves real quick. Hey, y'all hear my wife back there laughing, man? Let me see if I get on Chad online, man. Since he already in the thread, let me get on his nerve real quick. I should have probably asked him first. But Chad ain't gonna make it seem like. I could get Chad on, so. Hey, Ace, what's going on, man? Drew, you back?
Yeah, I'm right here, man.
Yeah, cool. I'm trying to see who I can go ahead and call and see if I get some. Let me get Leandro here and see if she want to talk about this book and see whatever else she got to talk about. I was just gonna call on three-way probably. And what you eat this weekend, bro?
What did I eat?
Yeah, man.
I had some Popeyes yesterday.
Did it disappoint you?
No, I was straight, man. I caught being a fresh batch. I was in there about 45 minutes.
Why it took so long to get some chicken for Popeyes?
Bro, it was 100 people in there, man. I caught myself being slick, not even going through the drive-thru. So I go inside, and it's like the line snake right there. So I said, man, what's the special, right? Because I know y'all got one.
Right.
So he told me what it was. It was like a 9 people something. I was like, yeah, let me get one of those.
Mm-hmm.
So he was like, yeah, it's going to be about 30 minutes. I'm like, cool, because I wanted some hot chicken anyway. Man, I was sitting there. I was on the phone with you anyway, so it didn't matter.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
just chopped it up, and then I see the big dude in front of me, man. That dude had me about 6'3", 6'4", about 350, man. He started jumping up and down, bro. The chicken wasn't ready. He was going crazy. I thought he was going to eat the receipt. I was like, man, calm down, man. Calm down. That chick gonna be smoking hot when you get it, but he was mad. Man, asking you for some extra business for the weight. I was like, nah, man, that ain't what you asked for. That want the said extra biscuit. He was mad as hell, man.
Why you want to choke that bad?
I don't even know what he was on, man. I guess he had. I ain't never heard nobody ask for extra biscuit.
Hey, was he catering or something? Like,
man, I don't know what type of mission he was on, man. He might have been trying to hit it. Like, you don't ask for extra biscuits and Popeyes. Like, what you want? For the weight, though. Yeah. Like, nah, you ask for something to drink for on the weight. Like,
yeah, wait a minute. He wanted to be compensated for waiting, so he asked for extra biscuits.
Biscuits, like, you don't even care about your time if you asking for biscuits for waiting. Like, you don't even care about your time.
There's a whole list of stuff you ain't concerned with. If you 350 and talking about playing about extra biscuits.
Asked for some hot sauce, like anything other than the biscuits. You could have asked for extra gravy for the weight.
Let me get a dirty rice.
Yeah, from the biscuits, man. I let it get him a whole box, no problem.
A whole box of biscuits?
What? No problem. You probably have about 10 biscuits.
Man, so
who she selling them to?
Bro, I can't even imagine that. That's a whole visual right there, man.
Man, that mean his bill was trash.
Man, you talked to Sid lately?
Man, I can't never catch Sid, man.
I'm gonna see if I can get. Let me see if he at the house right now, cause I need him to tell. He got a story that I wanted him to tell one time. Let's see if I can get him on here. Hang on. Man, everybody going to bed like old people, I guess.
I'm sorry, but the person you called has a voicemail.
Bro, I guess Ed done went to bed, man. So.
You know, he go to sleep early, man. I don't know what type of hours that boy.
Mm-hmm. Ain't no telling. I'm gonna look on Ace. Who's that? Hey, tell your lady to chill out. Anybody got to call nobody?
Yeah, they better get the call. It's going down. It's going down. You better call somebody.
Man, hey, hang on a second. Let me see if I can get my man Ace on here. Let him talk. Man, we had a good chat one time before. I'm calling her now.
Yo.
Hey, what's up, bro? I'm gonna put you on live right now. You good with that?
Oh yeah, that's what's up.
All right, I'm finna merge you in with my cousin. Hang on. Yo, we got everybody here?
Here? Yeah.
Hey, Drew, you there?
Yeah, I'm here, man.
Okay, good. I got my man Ace on the line too. He had asked a question. That's just easier for me to take the call right now and try to scroll through this line. You know what I'm saying? So go. Hey, Ace, go ahead and give your opinion about the Cardi Offset thing, man. I'm gonna let you talk.
I first want to say peace and courage, man.
Hey, man,
but the Cardi B and Offset thing, man, people give Offset a hard time, man, but she really asks for that kind of stuff. So,
okay.
You know,
So you're basing it off of music and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I remember one lyric saying,
like Texas from my exes.
Call me 100 times, you know what I'm saying? I don't care if we bad, we beefing, you better call me. I better have big phone calls.
Okay.
Whatever the case may be. You know, misery love company, man. So there's people that don't want it. Maybe I really personally don't care, but there's certain people that, don't want this to make it so they don't speak negative on anything that got this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you know what though? I kind of can co-sign to that too, because you can't limit why she attracted that behavior, especially when number one is all entertainment, right? And if they in the public eye as entertainers, then they can always be held accountable based on, you know what I'm saying, the lyrics that they use, right? Because they crucify people all the time in entertainment for what they say. That's part of the reason why we talked about Kevin Hart. You know what I'm saying? Amen.
Oh yeah, I mean, at least them words are like word is bond. You know what I mean? Like you just never take those words away.
No. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Even with Kevin Hart, all the crazy stuff he done to try to fix this whole homophobic narrative that they pushing on him. I mean, the man kissed the rock in the mouth. I mean, what else do you want him to do that makes you feel bad? You know?
Oh man, I forgot about that.
You know, they ain't even accept his sacrifice of him kissing the rock in the mouth.
Yeah, but whatever.
Hey, like that's crazy.
That is kind of crazy.
Yeah, you got to get props for that.
Yeah.
I ain't giving props.
Hey, don't nobody.
I get it.
Yeah. Like I was about to say, it's sad that we even talking about. That's how you got to make up for it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, make up for it.
Yeah, you got to kiss a dude, huh? Yeah, just to show you ain't gay. Well,
I think they want more out of Kevin Hart. They want him to submit more.
Yeah, I felt like it was buck breaking a little bit. You know what I'm saying? It was like emasculating.
Not a little bit of lie.
Yeah.
Not a little bit of lie. That's what Hollywood is. We know that. We know Hollywood.
Yeah, I get it.
They're gonna put you in the dress. They're gonna make you kiss a man. They make you put a wig on.
Bruh.
Whatever the case may be, to fold and flex, you know.
Bruh, they, you know what? And the thing is too, it's not necessarily about what it's, you know, like what the intent is after whatever said is said or whatever pictures are snapped. Because you know, like Vince Young, he was just in a dress. On the Longhorn symbol too. Yeah. Now the cause of why the cause of why he chose to make that move is one thing, okay? But the imagery.
What was the cause though? What was the cause?
He was in a play. I think it was either Nutcracker or something, and it's usually the role that he was playing is normally played by a man in a dress.
That's the only thing the cause was.
Yeah, I don't. But look, regardless.
No,
yeah, but
can I say a different cause?
Yeah, you go ahead on, man. You go ahead. That's why you talk free, bro.
I believe the different cause was Fisher is a quarterback killer. Which people, you don't know who Fisher is. That's the HBO Tennessee when Vince Young was there.
Okay.
And he ruined that man's career. That man never had another shot except for the first shot at Green Bay.
Yep.
For half a second.
And this other thing too, just to add some more context, Jeff Fisher been a loser a whole lot longer than he was a winner. Just go ahead and put that out there.
When did he win?
Let's see.
That's a good question.
He went to the Super Bowl.
That's a good question.
That was it, wasn't it?
That he won.
But he didn't win it. I'm just saying he went to the Super Bowl.
I'm just saying he had one season.
Bro, all I'm saying is that is the extent.
What he went to?
That's the one where they played the Rams.
Against the Rams.
Yeah, and he had Steve McNair. And you know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
He went to Steve McNair.
So yeah, man, like the you know, people being emasculated, you know what I'm saying, and being used as symbols and imagery, you know, that ain't never really sat well with me. You know what I'm saying? Ain't putting on no wig. Ain't put on no dress.
People gotta understand how important imagery is, though, and symbolism.
It's true.
Is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm always constantly saying the return of the black man image and make the black man image great again. And we all know that's what Obama was, a great image of the black man. And as far as being, you know, family oriented, I'm not going to speak on them being passive, but I'm just going to say family oriented black man.
Mm-hmm.
Image is a big deal, yo. We have to understand that something that I saw David Bama say a couple weeks ago, I think it was Dave, might have been David Bama said that as a man, what makes you a man is not the things you agree to, but the things that you don't agree to.
I can agree with that.
You know what I'm saying? You can't fix and flex and fold for these cats, man.
No.
You gotta stand on your square.
Yeah. In no type of way can you can't leave no room to be you know what I'm saying, misinterpreted. You can't be
passive.
Yeah, don't give nobody no leverage to misrepresent you. You know what I'm saying? Like that's like even down to the simple stuff, man. Some people think it's all fun and games. You remember when social media used to be like, oh man, it's just social media, whatever, right? That's the first thing that people go dig up on you now. You know what I'm saying? To find out what you was about. So like, there's power in the things that you don't say. I've been saying that. Like I like saying when I don't know something to this point because there's nothing great about to me at this point with access to a smartphone, the internet, and everything else. It's more surprising when people don't know something. You know what I'm saying? And they're able to say, yeah, I don't know anything about that. Can you give me some game on that? You know what I'm saying? Because right now everybody knows everything about any topic. Everybody's an expert. You know what I'm saying? So like when you start, you got to make sure you represent it the right way. Bottom line. Like, you ain't gonna scroll through none of my pictures and see me, you know what I'm saying, no middle finger poses. I ain't never really understood that. You know what I'm saying? The hats off to whoever do it and you know, what they got to feel about.
And I'm so glad Facebook and social media went around back in my day when I was really out here, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, me and my homies, we done a lot of that type of stuff back in my day.
Right. Bruh, you nowadays, like, and then for women, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can stand up there with your ass out now, and now you look kind of crazy because, like, we gotten older. So, like, it's certain things that, yeah, we might look at it, but it ain't nobody, like, diving off in, you know what I'm saying, head over heels about what you showing everybody either, you know? So, like, we're not easily moved by some things anymore. And then it makes it easy for me to, you know, like, not have dialogue with certain people. You know what I'm saying? It makes it real easy for me to navigate. So people show themselves real quick, you know? So, and when you don't see certain people get engaged in certain discussions, you know what I'm saying, you got to take notice of that pattern too, you know? So you're right though, there is power in what you don't say. So you've been following that protesting that's going on in Hoover?
I have been, and I really been following mostly. You know, I spent 8 years in Charleston, man, and I was there during the whole Charleston church shooting. Rest in peace to my homie, Walter Sanders. And I was there during the Walter Scott thing. And I really firsthand felt the vibe of arguing with people that didn't agree with me as far as saying that these people were guilty. They were horrible, they were monsters. And I'm seeing like my Birmingham people now arguing with other people about this Hoover thing. You know, I'll be honest with you, the only time I go to Hoover is for the come to start on. That's the only time I go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they told me back in 05 that that's not a place for me to be. You know, they don't want me there. Being from the north side of Birmingham, Power Heights area, they don't want you there. No. So I'd rather not be there. I don't like to spend my money with them.
Yeah, you got to protest with your pockets. And my cousin said that.
Right.
You know, and she's right. You know, like, because one thing you have to do is recognize where you fit in this society. And I think black people have the longest road to accepting that. You know what I mean? Like,
we gotta weed out these black people who want to be accepted by these white people.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The real fanboys of the culture.
Yeah, and don't even know it.
The ones that want white people to be so comfortable and at ease with what's going on
right.
Them the people that's really the target.
Why you trying to? Yeah, like why? Like I never understood why you trying to make people comfortable with you and they don't live your life. You know what I'm saying? Like my circumstances ain't less true. You know, like my circumstances as a black person ain't less true just because a white person don't want to accept it. You know, like.
But you know that because you're an educated country brother.
I mean,
the average black person doesn't agree with that. They want equality, right? Everybody wants equality, but once you understand that equality means somebody gonna have to
Yeah.
then you understand that it would never be equality.
Well, let me add something on
Because
that. Because you touched on equality, but there's another word that's missing in that too, and it's called equity. Like equality means everybody got the right to get up and go to the mailbox, right? You know, or got the right to get up and go to work or be able to purchase, you know what I'm saying, goods in the same place as everybody else, right? But equity comes in when there's a, you know, like an equal, well, there's distribution based on percentages. You know what I'm saying? So like, that's why when we talk about like the prison industrial complex and, you know what I'm saying, our equity in the prison industrial complex is way higher than everybody else's, you know what I'm saying, for the same crimes. So.
But how long will that last, though?
I don't know, man. As long as I think it'll change when everybody ain't white no more. you know what I'm saying? Because like by the time everybody get bred out,
brown people are gonna be the substitute for black people in prison.
Well, I've seen some theories on that, and it depends on where you live. I think everybody's just gonna be brown at some point. We probably won't live to see it in our lifetime. You know what I'm saying? But like white people on the decline. You know what I'm saying? Between heroin and oxygen, they ain't gonna make it. So, and now they're dying with dogs. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to save dogs in frozen rivers. And then the dog come out free. And then they done die. That's 2 this week. You know what I'm saying? So heroin.
Was that a white person that died?
Yeah, absolutely. Man, we ain't getting nobody water when it's warm.
You know how we be. You have to make sure when you read the caps, you have to see who. You know, you be like, well, it sounds like a black person.
Yeah, but hey.
It sounds like a white person. You got to make sure.
Yeah, sometimes like if they ain't got no name on there, and then I'm looking at the geography. If it says something like in Utah, it's highly unlikely it's us. You know what I'm saying? If it say Wisconsin or something and walking a dog and it's not in Milwaukee, it's somebody white. You know what I'm saying? Or they play for the Packers. So one of the two, or the Bucks. Maybe play for the Bucks. So let's see here. What else? I'm trying to go back over a couple of things on here. See if we missed anything. Well, how you feel about Urban Meyer and his exit?
Man, listen, Urban Meyer is the epitome of white privilege, in my opinion.
Man, go ahead and talk, man. Go ahead. Let's go ahead. I got to start calling it Ace more, man.
Now, listen, you know I'm going to talk, bro. I don't care.
Yeah.
200 and some odd pounds, I don't say how much. I don't think nobody can whoop me, so I'm going to say how I'm going to say how I feel.
Go ahead, man.
Urban Meyer is the epitome of white privilege when it comes to NCAA football.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That is how I feel. That as soon as something goes wrong, situation happens, he doesn't even address it. He doesn't even deal with it. He automatically have a health issue, and then he bows out, and then 2-3 years later, boom, he got another job, $1 million being made, millions, not millions, millions of dollars being made, and no consequences behind it. You know, and at the end of the day, these young kids aren't being, what's the right term? Aren't being.
They're not being taught accountability. They're not being.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, they're not being mentored the right way. Not by somebody with credibility anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel you.
And a couple of years from now, I would be surprised if he doesn't have another job.
Oh,
because he did the same thing with Florida.
Yeah.
Look how many players from Florida like literally trashed besides Tim Tebow during his era.
Yeah.
Everybody's done. Like they don't even relate or correlate. What's the tight end that killed himself in prison?
Are you talking about Aaron Hernandez?
Aaron Hernandez to Urban Meyer.
Murder Hernandez?
They don't even relate them. Yeah, they don't even relate them two together.
Nah, they don't.
He was doing a lot of this stuff while he was at the University of Florida.
Yeah, he had quite a few ongoing investigations. I think he had like 28 arrests on that team. You know what I'm saying? Like during the course of the season.
They don't even correlate the two, man. I tell people all the time, they got this new movie coming out about Joe Paterno from Penn State.
You told the one that was on HBO?
Like, no, I thought I read something saying it was a movie, like a real one.
No, that was a movie, and it was on HBO, and I think Al Pacino played Joe Paterno. My brother watched it.
I never watched it.
Yeah, me either.
But they are so quick and ready to excuse this guy and bless him instead of holding his feet to the fire. This guy is God in that area.
That's true.
He's not God, and he's the second to God.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm from Alabama, man.
Yeah.
Nick Saban is God. Nick Saban.
Saban got more power than the damn governor.
But if Nick say this guy right here playing with little boy, man, that guy gotta go.
Well, my thoughts on this right here, when it comes down to white people and child molestation, and this is to black people that are trying to get white people to understand our situations. White people were okay with abuse being prevalent in the Catholic Church. They were okay with the circumstances that led to Joe Paterno's removal. So it's going to be difficult to get white people to be empathetic and sympathetic to black people collectively when they haven't demonstrated a collective outrage for their own white boys and girls. Just a thought. So
that's not a thought, that's fact.
That's reality. Yeah, that's reality, bro.
That's fact. Mm-hmm. That ain't a thought. I'm sure if we was to really sit down and do the data, it'd be back.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Man,
this is their culture.
Yeah, like, it's true. It's true. From what we've seen, yeah, and it's not the abuse part that's the culture. It's the willful ignorance. You know what I'm saying? That we've seen displayed in different arenas that impact everybody. See, this is the difference with. See, when black people have issues, it only affects black people. You know, when white people have issues, it affects everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like
because they hold the power.
Right.
They're at the top.
I mean, it's a white country. You know,
we all striving to be like them or be in their circle.
Yep. Or trying to be as a fluid and seen as a human being, I guess you could say, over time, or just even being seen as credible. So, hey man, it's been a good chat. I gotta let you go, bro. I gotta take another call.
I appreciate the conversation, man. I appreciate the phone call. Like I said, peace and courage. All y'all, man.
Salute. All right, man. Hang on.
All right, roll time.
Roll time. Let's see here. Hang on a second. What I got? Man, I appreciate y'all hanging out. It's been a good night. So now I'm finna call my friend Leandra Green. She been dying to talk to me about my book. And that's what we're gonna talk about. Oh shit. Oh, you got a little Sade on them? Hey, what's going on?
Hi, good. How are you?
I'm pretty good. How about yourself? You know, you just gave everybody a little bit of that kiss of life, you know what I'm saying, with your ringtone on the way in. So it was pretty good intro for yourself.
I completely forgot I had that on.
Yeah, because that ain't for you. That's for everybody else. So we've been meaning to have a conversation about my book because I know you read through it quick. We had a couple of good conversations about it, and you've been trying to
maybe pull it out.
Yeah. Well, hey, go ahead. You know, like so. So when you can start talking about it wherever you want to, and you can ask my feedback on whatever topic you'd like to have my feedback on, and what stood out most to you about it.
Well, starting out, I like how you hold the guy's feet to the fire.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of times black women are being held accountable for a lot. Everything doesn't fall on us. And there's not enough men holding other black men accountable for what they do. Now, I'm a black woman who was raised by her father, traditional church-going black man. Sometimes things weren't always fair.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, he worked really hard raised me to be a decent member of society, you know.
Yeah.
And the same thing applies to like my uncles.
Mm-hmm.
But and not only that, he came from a generation that also hold other black men accountable.
Okay.
For certain things. But now we live in a society where black women, it's like we're damned if we do, damned if we don't.
Okay.
And it was so refreshing. And I think you and I discussed this before. There was a line in the book, and now I have to go back and look at it because I bought 3 copies. Now I got to find which copy it was that I took my notes in.
Oh, okay. Hey, look.
I think I might have left that one at work. But
hey, look, to everybody else that's listening, hey, the link to the book is in the caption. You know, if you can't see the full caption, just expand it. It's on Kindle and paperback and available on Amazon as a bestseller. So it's called A Code, and it's a blueprint to solidarity among reasonable black people. But back to Leon. What you got?
Oh my God, Vic, I cannot remember because the book came out so long ago. I think I bought it like maybe the second day it came out?
You caught about the second day it came out. It came out in October.
Yeah, it was long ago.
Mm-hmm. So, but you read through it so fast though. So
I did.
So while you trying to locate that specific point, just talk to a broader take of the book overall. I know you said it was refreshing, but
it was refreshing because it was good to know that a man actually got it.
Yeah,
it's very rare that I come across men who actually speak from our perspective. Like, I think in your book you use the example about what's the young man's name? Stephon.
Stephon Clark. Stephon Clark.
Stephon Clark, who
got killed by police.
Got killed by police officers.
Mm-hmm.
Where, like in Oakland, right?
No, I was in Sacramento.
Oh, okay. So in California.
Right.
And there were sisters out there who were adamant about not protesting for him.
Mm-hmm.
And well, I think I hold the black struggle first before the women's struggle, and I struggle between those lines. I totally get where they were coming from.
Mm-hmm.
I totally get it because it's like if you don't value us, why should we value you? Right. It's just not fair. And then on top of that, there's so many instances where young black women, like take what's the young lady in Maryland, Corinne?
Oh yeah.
Do you remember what I'm talking about?
I think her name was Corin Gates. I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was.
Yeah, I think so. And the young lady in the pool in Texas.
Yeah.
And Sandra Bland, those are things that we don't hear their names as constant as we hear Alton Sterling or Trayvon Martin, or we don't hear the female name as much.
Yeah.
As we hear the men. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're here too. We want to be. I don't think that women mind being at the forefront of a struggle, but we want to be recognized.
You want to be fought for as well if the time
comes. Exactly. And we want to, definitely. You said the right words. We want to be fought for too.
Right. And it's hard to. I would say it's hard. It's not really that hard to try to get that strung up as an actual banner. You know what I'm saying, to get behind. I think a lot of people, they like to convict people of their own death in so many ways. You know what I'm saying? Because it's convenient and they don't have to take equity in the situation. There's nothing wrong with that, But like, hopefully that when history comes back, that you're on the right side of it. We living in some times now where you got to be very, very tactful in what you say and how you articulate it, because you don't have to own it. See, like, if you say something, you can forget. People can forget what you said. But when you write something, it's out there forever. You can't ever take it back. It can be found. You know what I'm saying? So, like, as we saw with as we've been seeing with everybody that's associated with Trump that had anything negative to say about Hillary Clinton, you know what I'm saying? They old tweets getting dug up, and it's also been, like a script of irony for them because they go into jail in the same circumstances, But yeah, so I felt like I needed to write something because there's only so much reach the social media is gonna have. I've had the same, like tone for, like quite some time. And I got to thinking about it, and I said I need to find a way to put all of this in a digestible form that kind of speaks for me. So we get to the point we need to stop arguing and say, go buy my book. You want my opinion? Go buy my book. Because I don't have to talk to people that I have to try to convince. It's not my job to try to change nobody else's mind. It's just me put my thoughts out there, and hopefully some other folks along the same line of thought can get behind it. And whether we agree on every topic or not, it's not a bad thing either. But one thing we need to be clear on is that we are due for each other's support, especially if we put ourselves in position to represent one another.
Right. You and I are actually in a couple groups together as far as social media is concerned.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing, there was a topic that I brought up a couple weeks ago in regards to what we've learned. Now, I remember maybe might have been a year ago, whenever Nate Parker, what's the movie he came out with? Oh my gosh, it's I can't think. I'm on the East Coast now, so it's 11 o'clock.
You talking about Nat Turner or
the Nat Turner movie?
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. Birth of a Nation. Mm-hmm.
Right, and there was a big argument within the group about whether or not we would still see the movie, based on Nate's past and the rape allegations and him getting off and all those things. And I was like, oh my God, they're just bringing it up. And I'm just speaking for me.
Yeah.
As a woman, as a Black woman,
mm-hmm.
I was very adamant. I was like, come on, they're bringing this up right now when this movie's about to come out. They know lots of people are going to see it, and they're just trying to keep the Black man down.
Mm-hmm.
I'm using air quotes right now.
Yeah.
But in the grand scheme of things, is a woman got hurt.
Yeah.
And I didn't think about it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And to think about it in terms of my daughter,
yeah,
or one of my friends, I wouldn't feel that way.
Right.
So that was a turning point for me.
Mm-hmm.
The Bill Cosby thing.
Yeah.
How we love Cliff Huxtable.
Mm-hmm.
We love him. But the truth of the matter is, he got convicted.
Yeah, look.
Because of Bill Cosby.
Man, look, we can be more than one thing at the same time. Okay.
Exactly.
Serial killers got friends too.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just saying, you could be really good at being a shitty person too. You could be really good at concealing, weird things about yourself that may be dangerous to other people.
Right.
So we have to quit looking at each other and expecting one thing. How everybody was has historically clamored over Will and Jada's very public relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And they said they want that type of relationship. You probably don't want that. You know what I'm saying? Because they've been very open about, how they see their family unit, and with them two being Will and Jada being the two main pieces in it that make it work. You see, they got some things they really, really just work around. And they've been very open about describing those things. And I don't know if everybody built like that,
No, because everybody wants instant gratification.
Yep.
People now, I don't think, are built to put in that type of work. You really, that takes mental stamina.
And then even with the work, do you want that result? Because
exactly.
They don't necessarily have a unit that most people want. You know what I'm saying? They can see the admiration that they have for one another, but do you love somebody that much to where that's how you see your level of desire for a family? You know what I'm saying? And you willing to deal with that. So, my whole book. That's why I began with the first topic of self-discovery. are you who your parents, tried to groom you to be, and because like they groom you through their own actions, their own relationships, and their interactions with their, with their sisters and brothers and all of that. So you think that that's how your family unit is supposed to be when you get to that point in life, because that's your first reference point.
Right.
But the reality is, it's not. You don't become who you were groomed to be. You become how you deal with your problems.
Mm-hmm.
So if you raised in chaos and deal with chaos and disorganization, you're gonna get somebody that reflects that, and you're gonna think that the other person has a problem, but really you are the oxygen for that problem to exist.
Mm-hmm. That is so true. That is so true. I find that I don't handle things the way that my parents handle things. Generations change.
Mm-hmm.
My mom, for example, was raised by her grandmother, who was more submissive, and people use that word so loosely.
Yeah, they do.
But I wouldn't say submissive. I would say more docile. I won't say submissive.
Less confrontational.
Right.
Non-confrontational. Yeah.
But both my parents are college-educated parents, but my mom still carried the ways of my grandmother a little bit. A little bit more enlightened, I guess you can say.
Okay.
And now, today, being that I am a divorcee,
Mm-hmm.
I have some of those ways, but I look for more.
Right.
I look for more.
That's not your ceiling.
And not only that, I look to be what I want in that relationship.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people don't do that. And I'm a type of person who will reflect. I will pull back from a relationship really quick if I'm like, okay, you know what, you're not doing right.
Yeah. At some point, you're doing it to yourself once you've seen the behavior enough.
Exactly.
Right.
And I know that I'm the type of person, for me, if I'm not satisfied with what I got going on with myself, I don't want to carry it on to that person.
Right.
Let me fall back, and we can revisit this if you're still interested.
Mm-hmm.
That's the type of individual that I am.
Well, you should be. I mean, I think like I try to manage all my relationships, friendships, and with a simple philosophy. If I make it about them, they should make it about me. And why wouldn't it work?
Right.
Because when you get into the other complex breakdowns and tiered ways of how you deal with people, you're gonna have too many different boxes to sort from, and then you're gonna be an expert on half knowing everybody. Focus on the people that reinforce you, and I think everybody else can benefit from that around you. You know what I'm saying? Because if you can't take care of nobody until you take care of yourself. Like when you're on a plane and they say in an event of emergency situation on cabin pressure loss, the mask drop down for the ceiling. They say secure your own mask before you help somebody else.
Exactly.
Because of how good you passed out. Now you somebody they got to worry about carrying.
That's right. Good at both of you on the floor.
Yeah. So it's just you got to transfer it. Like my man Ace just commented. He said it's a transformation of negative energy. Absolutely. Like in the mission statement of my book, I talked about repurposing that anger, because it can be negative energy if it don't have a right target, a tangible target at that.
Right.
And you okay? It's okay to be angry, but you got to make it kinetic. If you just angry now screaming in the backyard, I don't know how much purpose that's going to serve at some point before somebody says there's a crazy man in the backyard screaming. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You got to turn that into policy. You got to turn it into initiative among people that you respect, and also knowing the difference between what you control versus what you can influence.
Absolutely.
So what you can control is how you deal with your problem. Okay. Mm-hmm. What you can do to influence is make sure you carry yourself in a certain way where you lead by example, and other people feel awkward, respond in a certain way. For the same reason that you don't cuss at your grandmama's house, but you cuss around everybody else, is because that you can't do that.
Exactly.
so and that goes back to not being limited to being one way, So, but yeah, I just wanted to call and finally get a chance to talk to you about the book or whatever.
I know.
I'm telling you, I'll probably be doing this a lot more and making the book probably a talking point at some, at some point in there. So if you see something that sparks your opinion, because sometimes, if you read something again or you pick it up, you're like, oh, okay, let me talk about this point a little bit more in depth. Because again, that book was written like as a handbook because I don't want to inundate anybody with too much information because I had a lot to talk about, but I wanted to make it all relevant conversation, things that impact everybody day to day. Because there's too many different things that we can, delve off into and never come back out of.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I appreciate you staying up a little bit. I know it's late for you, so I'm going to go ahead and let you go for the night, all right?
All right, well, I'll continue to listen until I go to sleep.
All right, then. I'll talk to you
Have a
later.
good night.
You too.
Bye-bye.
So, let's see. Yeah, that was pretty good, man. Hey, look, if y'all haven't bought the book, I'd appreciate it if you buy one for you and another one for somebody that you care about. It's kind of important, and I feel like I did my best work, in terms of like trying to put together a book that was written as a discussion and not something that was preaching at somebody. Everybody's been preached to, about something at this point in their life. Most of us are already 40 or approaching 40 or been 40 for about 10 years, So, we don't need nobody to try to raise us through text. We just need somebody that kind of, that can agree with certain commonalities, that exist. But I really don't have much else I need to talk about right now. Who else got something they need to say? I can give you a call or whatever. And if not, I'm gonna give it about another 5 to 10 minutes, and I'm gonna probably go ahead and hang it up myself. It's 10 o'clock for me. I had to get up in the morning, like most of y'all. So let's see what we got. Who just hit me up? So what else y'all doing to celebrate y'all loved ones during the holiday season? Yeah, let me talk about that for a minute. As most of y'all know, I don't follow no belief system. But that doesn't stop me from enjoying and supporting, people around me that do, enjoy the holiday season for the traditional sense. I have no problem with participating because it don't diminish who I am, and it shouldn't diminish you. We need to be careful of not becoming so militant and without any type of flexibility to the point where you can't even enjoy, your folks being around you. The holiday season for me is about getting the best opportunity to get the folks I care most about around me. Because you got off days, you got times to congregate, you got times to socialize and fellowship, whatever buzzwords you like to use. You know what I'm saying? I'm part of a bike club. Hey, shout out to Legends 02. And my club brothers, man, been riding for about 6 years, coming up on our 7 years as an organization. And it's been the same squad, the same constants. And we will do anything, to get everybody to the same spot if it's available. I travel a lot with my job, so I look forward to every opportunity that I have when I'm in a situated position for them to show up or for me to be able to be available and participate with them too. So we are in a period where everybody wants to judge you from what you say, what you do, without ever really knowing you, and they want that to be their main interpretation of how they see you. But again, you're not just one way, man. Black people are not monolithic, and you don't get to box anybody in. And the only person that's just getting boxed in that way when they make those, observations are the people that's making observations. Those are the only folks that's getting boxed in. Some folks only show up to disagree. Some folks only show up when when you make a mistake. Some people only show up when you stumble, you know. But what do they do when they see you at your low point? Do they help you up? Do they clap, offer some encouragement, or do they point and pull their phones out? You know what I'm saying? So that's the point I'm making. So the minute they make those observations about you and they say it's just a joke and it's really a well-dressed insult or a poorly dressed insult, you need to make note of that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's really how they've been feeling. So at this point, you need to have people around you that reciprocate the way you feel about yourself. You know, you need to see multiple mirrors in people that you call family or friends or whatever, you know, socialized terminology, you know what I'm saying, you want to use that dignifies their value in your life. And the other part of this whole thing is that your life has more value when it matters to somebody else. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and sign off for the night. And I'll talk to y'all in the morning. Maybe. You know, especially if you follow my newsfeed. One.